Had a little delay there. Let's see.
I was just waiting for you.
I know, right? Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, Town of Cedar Point regular meeting, Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. Everybody will stand for a moment of silence and we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody out. Challenge to get on Cedar Point Boulevard in this time of day. Isn't it, Deputy? Tell you, son, it's crazy out there. Yeah, get a motion to excuse Gary Bray. He's not going to be here tonight.
Motion.
Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda and the consent agenda. No changes. I accept the motion.
Make the motion, we approve the agenda and the consent agenda as presented.
Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, public hearing rezone request RZ 2025-01. Request to rezone approximately 1.03 acres from B1 Business District to R15 Residential. PIN 5374 1712 943 9000 to allow for development of single family residential. Motion to go into public hearing.
Make a motion, go in public hearing.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Now in public hearing, thank you. Mr. David.
All right, in your packet, you'll find the application submitted by Tidewater Associates on behalf of Joe Valenti. The property is located on First Street. Let me pull up the map here for you, kind of orient you a little bit. So here's Cedar Point Boulevard. This is the Bogue House Restaurant right here. This is the furniture outlet, cell phone tower. And this property that you see right here highlighted in teal at the moment is the one that they're asking for a portion of it to be rezoned. And then subsequently, the next item on your agenda will be the division of that area into 3 separate lots. So just to kind of orient you there, it is on First Street, Fur being the one that does not connect out here to Cedar Point Boulevard. So that's the property. I'm not going to read through the application. It's there for you. It's not a quasi judicial hearing, so we don't need to put it into the record per se. But there it is. The information, all the property owners that were listed to be notified. Here you will find a map of exactly the area that they're asking to have rezoned. So it is kind of the southern portion, if you will, of that property, kind of south west portion of that property. They plan to leave a little access for future access into the back portion of the property and then divide this into 3 lots on the road frontage. It is a little more than 1 acre. The next map that we have here kind of shows the zoning of the surrounding properties. You can see B1 on the road frontage, and then surrounding it and around it is either R15 or R15M. The difference primarily being that your R15 allows mobile homes where your R15 does not. Same lot size requirements generally. So 15,000 square foot lots be contiguous with similar zoning of that property. The applicant is here, the property owner is not. So if you have any questions, Jonathan's here on behalf of Tidewater Associates. To answer any questions as well.
Jonathan, you wanna give us anything on it beforehand? It is pretty straightforward. Yeah. Does anybody in the public want to talk to this?
I will pull up the land use plan for you here. Just so that you can see. Anytime we do a rezoning, it is something that we look at, and this particular one. It does. Just a second. So on our future land use map as part of our comprehensive plan. If it'll pull over. There we go. You can see here, this is our future land use plan, the different categories. The property that we're talking about here is in this general area right here. So it doesn't show the individual property boundaries. But if I compare that with the GIS, you can see that this larger tract right here where the Bogue House Restaurant is, sits back quite a bit further than this property boundary. And as you can see, that's this red section right here. And then this is your commercial out front. So the town's plan has been that at some point, this property would be rezoned to residential as shown in that yellow. So it is compatible with our land use plan. As a reminder, anytime that we do adopt a change to the zoning map, there has to be a consistency statement. I was a little rushed this afternoon, did not get one prepared. I'd forgotten about it until just a few minutes ago, actually. So I apologize for that. I will pull up the one that the planning board looked at, which would be similar language for you. So give me just a second there.
I thought we had one when we did the planning board.
We did, and I usually update that, and it slipped my mind completely. With Jane being out, we've been a little behind trying to keep everything afloat here. So this is the language for the planning board. It basically says that the town of Cedar Point, say Board of Commissioners hereby finds that the following rezoning request, rezoning application RZ 2025-01, a request to rezone a portion of the parcel located on First Street bearing the parcel number from B1 to R15 is consistent with the town of Cedar Point comprehensive plan adopted November 16, 2023, because the proposed rezoning seeks to amend the zoning designation for the affected area to conform to the future land use plan. So your basis is that it is in fact the town's desire that it be rezoned residential. So I will update it as we continue this hearing, but just want to go ahead and read that to you.
All right, thank you. Motion to close public hearing.
We close public hearing.
Got a motion on the floor. All in favor? Aye. Now in the open session. Okay, anybody have any questions for David or Jonathan?
Just 3 quick ones. Jonathan, there's really no other, at this time, any additional development plan for that parcel. Just right now, it's just the three homes. You have a soft voice.
I know. Jonathan McDaniel, Tidewater Associates. Nothing else is proposed at the moment because that back part is like the only suitable septic soils out of the whole commercial B1 area. So he's kind of sandbagging the septic area just in case he needs it for later.
And my understanding is that part of First Street that the houses are going on, that's unpaved.
Correct.
any desire on the part of the developer to give us money to pave down to this, to the 3 houses?
I don't know that answer.
Okay.
It may be in his best interest to pave it for his buyers, but. I don't know.
But it's, I think it's a town-owned street, right?
It is a town-owned street and something that I brought up in the planning board meeting, just as a reminder to this board, is there are some engineered stormwater plans that when that road is paved, there would need to be the construction of some stormwater ponds along the edge of the road. They're oversized ditches is basically all they are. Basically in the vicinity in front of these 3 properties primarily. We do have that state stormwater permit in hand for that, but that would have to take place at the same time that the road paving were to take place.
And that's got to go if we do the entire road.
Yes, that would have to be constructed.
So we'll say that we are master planning the rest of the property too for stormwater, and there may be opportunity to get some efficiency with that, because the road doesn't itself generate that much impervious area, so maybe it could be routed into one common system and just brainstorming since we're talking about it.
And my last question would be, I think where the septic is proposed, David, there's a private street or is it a public street that dead ends at that property?
Well, you're talking about, that's for your subdivision. I
Okay.
mean, at this point, you're just looking at whether this parcel right here should be rezoned.
Okay.
But we'll address that shortly.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Any more questions? Motion to approve with consistency statement.
I move we approve the zoning request change with the consistency statement David read.
A motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, subdivision plan. Plat for parcel pin 5374 1712 94 9000. Hard to do with allergies in your mouth dry.
It'd be nice if we already had a address to refer to it by, but so in your packet, you'll see the kind of cover letter that accompanied the request. It is to divide the property from 1 lot into a total of 4 lots, basically creating 3 new residential lots out of the area that was just rezoned by the board. They are shown here on this drawing, and you'll see part of that is the relocation of an existing septic system easement that kind of ran along the road frontage and then made a turn back to the back corner of the property. And this is for the property located out front. And that has now been relocated off of this frontage in lot 3 to run around the outside of the lots and then tie back in. And then also to provide easement access for these 3 lots. That's pretty much the only drawing that we have of it. There are a couple of things. This is a minor subdivision plat since the number of lots are so small. It does actually front on a town street. So there's no, it's not a requirement to go through a 2-step process. One thing that I had mentioned during the planning board that we would still need before I could sign off on it on behalf of the town is information from both the health department approvals for each of the septic systems or septic system. I think it is planned to be 1 in this back corner back here, or back area. It's not quite in the corner for this area here, as well as the final approval on the water from West Carter Water Corporation. And the one outstanding issue that the planning board addressed as well that we need to address with the property owner is the issue of the fee in lieu. And so he'll have to have that appraisal done. And, once that appraisal comes in, then it'd be 10% of whatever that appraised value would have to be given for his recreation fee. Because there's no intent, my understanding from him, unless he's changed, there's no intent to add any additional recreational space. So it would be based off that appraisal. So those would kind of be the conditions, if you will, that we see that would need to be met before they could record. That's basically all I have. Any questions?
Y'all got any questions for Jonathan or David?
I guess one question I have, David, is planning board had no issues, everything was good.
Yeah, they,
You know, the
no,
criteria.
other, provided that, those outstanding issues are addressed. And they're just basically, our approvals contingent on their approvals, with the exception of the fee and lieu issue.
We had a citizen, Jonathan, come to the planning board meeting. And his house is the old Alan Redford house. All the way down on the corner across from Ronnie's. He's done a lot of stormwater work in his yard. When he first bought that, it was a flood area. His concern was with those lots going in, is that stormwater, without that being paved or anything going on to it, where's that stormwater gonna go? Is it gonna run?
It all drains to the north. For the most part, that's how it's all being planned.
You know where I'm talking about, the house I'm talking about on the corner? It's all the way on the end.
You talking about this one on the screen?
Yeah.
Cell tower to that.
Okay. And I mean, we'll keep an eye on it as we move forward, when we start moving forward on the road, if that ever happens, DOT. Give us a hard time, so.
Yeah, so I actually spoke with the property owner, and he may want to speak up as well.
He's here, I saw him when he walked in.
Um,
You didn't want to speak, so I didn't want to call your name or nothing.
oh, well, sorry, let me make that disappear then. So we actually have, Alan Bell years ago, when this was paved, went out and shot elevations of all this area. There was a phase 1, which is what is paved, and a phase 2, which isn't paved. Engineer drawings of what that stormwater system should look like, what those elevations should be. Somewhere about this area right in here is kind of the ridge. Should be at 10.4 feet. And this property corner right here is at 9.8 at the moment.
Well, that, from that corner down, toward the waterway was pretty bad to begin, and that's why that slope on the side of that house is fixed like it is.
Yeah, so everything from here, that's kind of the break point. Anything in this area is running down this direction. From here, it actually runs back.
Yeah.
So the concern was, if he were to bring in a lot of fill, would it be dumping water onto First Street?
Right.
And the issue is, there's still, even if he were to fill this some more, this driveway and the road here would be at a higher elevation, and we wouldn't allow that fill.
And it
Now-
would run back.
And it would be running, the lowest spot's running back into this area,
I got you.
back into here. As Jonathan mentioned, it does naturally drain from that point back in that direction.
Not gonna flood my house. is it?
Toward your house.
If we get enough rain, all bets are off.
Yeah,
I did go out there earlier today, and I'm not sure if it was part of there's actually a new house being constructed right here on this lot.
Yeah.
There's been couple piles of, looks like sod that was ripped up. I'm guessing it came from this property, maybe not, but right here on the right of way that I'm gonna be addressing with the property owner. And he has brought in some fill already that we'll be addressing with him.
I saw him working down there. I didn't go down there.
But yeah, there should not be an issue
Okay.
with that drainage. If there becomes an issue, then of course, we're gonna force them to take care of it, because naturally, number one, it does not drain this direction. And number two, our engineered drawings for the stormwater show that it needs to be going along, being stored along the right of way through here.
Well, we're gonna watch it. You let us know how things go down as you see it go. I think that Jonathan does about everything in town. His work is excellent. He doesn't mess around, so I don't think we'll have any problems here either. Complete confidence. Okay. No more questions for David, John? Entertaining.
Make a motion, we approve the subdivision plan as presented. For partial with PN 5374-1712-9439. Previously requested.
Okay.
Is that contingent upon receipt of final sign off for health
Contingent
department,
upon getting.
Wastewater.
You asked for.
Carter Wire Corporation,
Yeah.
Order.
and the PM loop?
And for the open space.
Thank you.
Thank you. Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Jonathan. Good work.
Okay, good.
Okay, David, release of ETJ authority.
All right, this is something that we addressed in your board retreat. I've basically put the same information back into this agenda packet. Because we were in a retreat as opposed to a formal board meeting, in order to kind of begin the process of moving forward, the board would need to take formal action to start the process. And to kind of walk you through what that looks like, although the general statutes do not clearly give a process to follow when you relinquish ETJ authority, it is something that has been recommended by the University of North Carolina School of Government, that you kind of follow a similar process to creating an ETJ. And so rather than trying to just do something, something else, it's better just to follow that process and reduce the chance of it being challenged and having to argue, whether or not there is a process and what that process should be. So the process would be to schedule a public hearing on the issue of relinquishment and providing written notification to all the affected property owners at least 4 weeks prior to that hearing. So based on that, we do not have time for you to set the hearing and then also have it conducted at your next board meeting. So in order to move forward with the process, I would recommend setting a public hearing for May 22nd, which would be a work session. It'd be a Thursday night for that public hearing. On the consent agenda, we've already identified a budget public hearing for that same Thursday night. So it would be the two items on that agenda. Once the board decides to take action, sets a public hearing, then we will go ahead and send out letters to all the property owners to let them know of the town's intent. To kind of give you an update on some information as well, just last week, there was a new bill proposed in the state legislature to do away with ETJ authority for all municipalities located in counties that already have zoning. So I think that takes care of like 81 out of the 100 counties in North Carolina, Carter County being one of them. So if that legislation is passed, then this becomes a moot point and the state would take it away from us anyhow.
If they take it away from us, will they take Croatan automatically too then?
Yep, it would be all ETJ authority.
That's probably how it's
But we
going.
would be able to keep it if we get this in time.
Yes, well, no, I mean, if they revoke the authority, then it basically all ETJs at that point
I know,
would
but if
disappear.
we get it in and done before that, then if they revoke the authority, then we lose that too.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I don't know where that's gonna go. It is something that a lot of municipalities are fighting pretty strongly over. When we talked about it, there's only 27 parcels that are undeveloped in our ETJ. Most of those, all but 3 of them are zoned residential. The county's likely to zone them residential as well. They'll basically be developed identical to how they would be developed under our zoning. So it really makes no sense to keep it. Other than like we talked about at the board retreat, which would be the Croatan National Park, in the rare event that it were ever sold by the federal government. To have some control over how it's developed. And I say rare event, but I don't know if you noticed last week, there was an agreement signed by the United States Secretary for the Interior and the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, for the main purpose of looking at federal properties to release for development of low-income housing in areas that need more affordable housing. So the federal government is actually looking at federal properties that could be sold off to developers for the purposes of putting affordable housing in. And that does, I mean,
Get heartburn. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
yeah, and hopefully this isn't one of the properties that they would look at. I don't think it would because of all the environmental limitations that property has. But there's no telling.
I think that's USDA property, so it wouldn't be under this.
It's the Croatan National Forest.
Which is USDA.
Is it? Forestry Service.
Yeah.
Falls under USDA rather than Interior.
Yeah.
Huh.
I 100% it was logical.
Now, if it was a national park, that'd be different.
It's a Croatan National Park.
It is.
Good luck with that.
That is the name of it, Croatan National Park.
So it's USDA, of course.
Interesting. But I mean, if they've entered into the one agreement, it'd be just as
Yeah.
easy to do the other.
Exactly.
Okay. Entertain a motion to instruct David to begin the process and add in a May 22nd public hearing.
So moved.
Got a motion? In favor?
Aye.
Dan, thank you. Okay, David, Beaver Dam removals.
All right. So, it has been brought to our attention and I've been out there to investigate myself, and I understand the mayor's been out there and seen it as well. From Marsh Harbor's HOA, one of their property owners was out walking around, noticed, high water levels right there on Sherwood Avenue. When you get to the low spot where the 2 pipes cross underneath Sherwood Avenue, there was some standing water in there, and noticed that, went to investigate and found out that there are 3 different beaver dams that are backing water up in this area, and quite significantly into this area back in here behind the pool for Marsh Harbor. So none of these three dams are located on property owned by the town of Cedar Point. However, they do affect the possibility of doing damage to our road, which does belong to the town. So in order to move forward with doing anything, we would, number one, have to have the property owner's permission to take any action through there, and then 2, have to determine the best course of action to take. My understanding in doing a little research on the process is it does no good to simply take out the dams. They'll put them back in a week or so.
You're kidding.
So
And it's just not those dams. I mean, if you walked over there, you saw it. There's trees all down in there everywhere from even since, we had it cleaned out. So since then,
it was cleaned out last year.
and it's probably as bad now as it was when you and I walked through it then. I mean, you got to walk through with your hip boots on now, or you're gonna be very wet.
On my way, yeah. On my way.
The road is definitely a concern because it's already eating out. If anybody's looked at it, so David, this is actually going under it.
I looked at it today coming here, and if you look at that pipe and those ditches, it's full of water right now.
Yeah.
And it had no rain. And you look at it and it's just like full of water. So it's
It goes on back.
I'm sure.
And the other side's the same way.
Yeah.
But
It is almost backing up like it's shown here to, this is the stormwater ponds in front of extra space storage.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, it's full. I mean, the ditches right now, if you leave tonight, go down there, it's full of water.
oh, it's full. If I
Nice little
said,
swimming holes.
where you see all that blue, where you see all that blue on that picture right there, it's deep. It's deep. But the road is what concerned me the most, was because it's already eating out quite a bit.
So what I'm requesting for the board, from the board, is to move forward with reaching out to these property owners, obtaining their consent. And then reaching out to a trapper or someone to dispose of the beavers before we start, figuring out how to then disassemble the dams. Cause it's so wet in there, you wouldn't even
Does
be able to
Les
get equipment.
own both sides?
I'm sorry.
Does Les own both sides?
So right now, the dams are located on property belonging to these two or maybe three property owners. Two on Marsh Island Drive and the one here on Little Bay Drive.
Oh, okay,
And then this parcel right here all belongs to Safefords,
that whole piece belongs to Safety?
where the dams are located.
Why?
The pool itself is still owned by, and it's kind of hard to tell on that photo. So let me put some property lines on
I
it.
didn't
for
know
you.
that the Safety's had that whole piece.
Yeah, all of that wooded area, to where it gets to the clearing. All this area, belongs to Safefords. Now, the water is actually coming all the way up into this area right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole area for the most part sitting underwater right now and down into about right in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I walk all behind these houses on this side too. I think that's where Tom saw me cutting through back over there.
And where normally this water's flowing about 2 to 3 inches deep most of the time.
It's full.
There might be some snakes in there.
A little bit.
Look pretty bad. All right.
And there's some evidence of where the beaver's been trimming.
Okay.
And the edge of the logs.
Can I get a motion to
Yeah.
get David to proceed with the beaver dam removals?
Make a motion to proceed with the beaver and beaver dam removals.
Motion on the floor, all those in favor?
Good luck.
It's unanimous, thank you.
I forgot some folks.
Okay.
The road is
Yeah,
a big,
yes.
the road is a really big deal, because if we get a rain, that road's in trouble. And it goes, it's big.
He'll catch you too.
Yeah, we-
It looks like there's families over
Yeah,
there.
is that what?
He'll be okay.
Cause I mean, there's
Yeah,
3
it's
dams,
first,
it's gotta be more than one beaver. Gotta be groups of them.
They call that.
Well, my understanding, some of those can get up to about 80 pounds or so around
They
here.
can get
Yeah.
huge.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
They can
They have
get
the
huge.
source to eat right over there.
David Eaton,
He's trying that. He'll be right back.
Yeah, if you have contacts, go ahead and send them to me and I'll reach out to them.
Small one, man. I got a couple, so you'll have multiple bids. They're out of, one's out of Jacksonville, one's out of Maysville, one Jackson. The only people I know around here that even touch it.
Yeah.
Can get them straight.
that's the only way to do it. Okay, Sherwood Avenue repaving project.
All right, so I included a narrative there for you, and then I also put together this drawing. I'll just kind of walk through the drawing. So at the retreat, the board indicated its desire to at least get bids on this area shown in black to install roll curbing along Sherwood Avenue so that it all ties in nicely with what is already existing, which is currently shown in this highlighted yellow. But the issue that we're having is individuals driving down Sherwood Avenue, because the road used to turn, Old Lois Lane would actually turn, and here was the end of the road, if you will. It came up kind of in this general area. That landscape island was designed for that road curvature. And we do have people that are coming down Sherwood Avenue wanting to go into Marsh Harbor, and they find themselves kind of facing this curb right here. before they realize, oh, I need to get back over and get on the road. Because the lane itself is not clearly defined. I had mentioned in the retreat, the idea of enlarging this island as kind of shown in this pink highlighted area. To kind of resolve that so that as you went past the end of this curbing and grass, you would see that next curb and realize that, oh, I need to start making a turn to the left rather than continuing straight. In that discussion, there was the idea of painting this area that's shown in orange to kind of highlight where the edge of the lane should be. And then also in thinking through it and talking with concrete guy, the idea of possibly cutting out this area here and putting in like a flat curbing. So it'd basically just be a little segment, foot wide, 1.5 feet wide, 2 foot wide of concrete that would tie directly into the roll curbing. So that it would give a nice permanent visual identification of where the road is. The advantage to the concrete, if you don't like the island, would be that when we repave the road, when they put that concrete in, it gives you a nice ending border of what's paved versus what's not paved. So it doesn't create the issue of what we have now. I mean, you can see the last time it was paved into this area.
Yeah.
So if you continue that process, you're going to still have the same issue. If you put something in here more permanent, then we can treat this parking lot separately whenever it's time to repave it. Of course, the other option is to remove the island, as was suggested at the hearing or at the retreat. And then the idea would be we could either patch that area and leave it open or repave the whole parking lot at the same time if you want to do one project to give it all a nice, good, clean look. There are some cracks out here in our parking lot. It will need it at some point. Not urgent, but so that's kind of some of the options. I laid them out kind of in a list format that I just went over. I'm really it's at your discretion of how you want to move forward. I just thought that while we're in the process of repaving Sherwood Avenue through this area up to about somewhere back in here and looking at this curbing, now would probably be the best time to address this issue rather than waiting. But
Since you and I didn't meet that day, and I've been over here watching people drive up and down that thing from every angle you can imagine. I'm in favor now of putting that concrete there.
I am too.
Yeah.
And then not take the island out yet. Till we see what's going on.
okay,
And then possibly take that thing out.
so you're talking about doing the ribbon
Yeah.
curbing through there to
Yeah.
identify the road.
That's what I did.
Mayor, I agree too. I was on my way here today and I saw the same thing. The car was veering off to the right when I was coming there.
I didn't see a whole lot of people
Somebody
do.
looked at me because of that, where they were driving into me.
I didn't see them do a whole lot of that.
Yeah,
I just see them driving about 40 miles an hour till they
Yeah.
get to the speed bump.
I think the concrete,
Maybe faster,
Yeah.
probably faster.
I think the concrete's a good idea. to
Yeah, I
start.
do too.
Yeah, if they're residents out there, they know the curvature of the road.
Yeah.
But when we have, guests that come through there, they have no clue.
Yeah.
We see it every week. Somebody will pull up.
Yeah, I've been driving it for a long time. It doesn't even register to me.
We'll see them get right in front of the island and come to a stop and then make a loop through our parking lot and then keep going on up Sherwood because they realize, oops, I'm a
Oopsie.
little too far over.
They just can't drive, I'm telling you.
Well, that's,
Okay,
okay, so what I will do then is go ahead and prepare the RFP to include that section as well. The area shown here in black with the roll curbing and then the curb and gutter on the backside of the AutoZone property with that termination of the paving to end right here. So all this that you see on this side of the orange line will stay intact for now.
sounds good.
Okay,
Fired up.
all right. Does the board want to take a look at that RFP or you want me to go ahead and prepare it and send it out?
Go ahead and do it.
Do it.
All right. I'm not sure at this point if we will be able to get someone to have it paved by the end of June, so it may move into next year's budget.
You're lucky to do that.
But we'll have the funds available whether we use them this fiscal year or next.
Okay.
Because by the time we give them 30 days, we're already end of April.
All right, sounds good. Lieutenant, you wanna talk to us?
Good evening. Not a whole lot to report. We've got a group of 4 or 5 teenagers going around tagging things. They're starting at the park, where the bathrooms started tagging again. Got a pretty good idea who they are, but I've got to be able to prove that they're the ones doing it. They're riding on the electric motorbikes.
I seen them, I
There's a group of 5 of them.
think I was talking about them in here the other day, they jumped them. Them dirt piles behind the gym down there.
Yep, these are our young gentlemen, I just have to be able to prove it. Other than that, some of the stuff I've talked to the town manager about and kept him up to date. We've got 2 open investigations, they're white collar crimes, dealing with this sports shop right now. I picked them up today, so hopefully within a week or so I'll be able to close those. And again, our Indianapolis 500. We're doing the best we can to slow them down.
You can't fix that.
No, I'm
Seriously.
not gonna be able to fix that. I've realized that. Even my issuing citations.
I got passed the other day from somebody running down the suicide lane. And I was probably running 45. And he blew like to ride me like I was tied to a pole.
You'll see highway patrol down here a lot more.
Yeah,
They're helping, and so are county deputies.
Now, if I see that, I'll be surprised.
I have seen more highway patrol in this area.
I haven't
One
seen,
right there at the old point.
I haven't seen any on West, I haven't seen any on Cedar Point Boulevard.
I've seen more than last week. I've noticed.
Trying not to slow them down.
I see Swansboro over here.
Oh, yeah, they'll be glad to come over here.
I seen them over here this week,
Alright,
right in front of Dudley's.
Yeah, they worried about parking.
yep,
Yeah, they're gonna start worrying about parking meters
Yes,
over
they-
there after night, so,
we've had a discussion about them being over here already,
yeah, I know.
but that's all I've got unless you have anything for me.
Thank you, sir. Be safe. Hey, David, you're up again.
Pull this back up. Well, the first thing I want to mention, there was a typo in the operating budget calendar. The date listed here was correct as April 16th on the date that I will provide you with a revised draft budget. However, it listed the day as Friday. That's actually Good Friday, so we won't be open that day. That is a Wednesday. I just forgot to change the day of the week there. Want to make sure you're aware of that. So on the copy that you previously received said Friday, it is in fact a Wednesday, but I'll be sending that out. And that'll just be an email to you. That's not a meeting night. All right, let's see. Pull something over to the screen here for you. Our new town website has been updated for those of you that may not have seen it so far. So was one of the beautiful photos that was part of our photo contest for Cedar Fest. In fact, all of these were. You now have direct links for certain items, new calendar layout, information about Parks and Rec. And then we do have the nicer drop-down menu for each of the different spots on the website. We are still in the process of updating some things. So you will continue to see changes with this. They basically put the meat into it, but we'll be massaging it a little bit and getting it exactly how we want it. But that is it. I do want to show you one thing that will be changing that we're working on now is just like our old website. If you went to this link that said Board of Commissioner agenda packets and minutes, then you would come to this page that you would actually have to choose the agenda packets or the minutes based on the year, and it would give you a drop down and here's all your agenda packets. Moving forward, it'll be more like the process we started with the planning board meetings, where if you just click on the meeting itself and they will each be listed So April 1st, we have a planning board meeting coming up. That agenda packet is not out yet. But from our last planning board meeting, you can go right to that date and get either the agenda packet, click a link directly to the video from the meeting. So same thing will be for the board of commissioner meetings for any of them that we have the videos historically, as well as any canceled meetings will still be listed so the public knows each calendar date where there was a meeting. And then once the minutes are approved, they will be included as well. So agenda packets, minutes, and video will all be uploaded for each meeting in kind of that format going forward. And if you want to search one, you can just type in a date right there and pull it up. Be a lot cleaner and easier moving forward. We will be continuing to update, like I said, several items. So right now, the way this is laid out, if you click on elected officials, you actually have to click on each one of these links to get information about each of you. That's all going to get changed and be a lot more user friendly. But the bulk of it, the meat of it is up, and just wanted you to be aware of it.
When they're gonna be complete? When are they gonna be complete?
When are they going to be complete? So we're in the process of working with them to, as we see things that need to be updated.
It's ongoing.
It's an ongoing process. Yeah. I've already closed it out on my particular browser. If you were to open this on your own browser at the house, you'll actually see an alert that would pop up here at the top of the screen, letting the public know that we have a burn ban in place. And so we do have that ability to add notifications up here at the top. Once somebody closes it out on that browser, it will not reload on that browser. It'd have to be a new notice that they'd see, so they don't constantly keep getting the same notifications. And if you want to pull it up on your phone, it looks really nice on phones as well. So
yeah,
That's good.
Make you aware of that. Next thing, I mentioned a little bit about this earlier, but again, the North Carolina legislature is trying to cut municipal authority from all angles. They are looking to remove the ETJ authority that we talked about. And then just before the meeting, you might have heard me speaking with Jonathan about a desire by the legislature to remove the authority of local governments to regulate minimum zoning or minimum parking requirements. So right now we have requirements that, a particular use has to have so many parking spaces. A restaurant, for example, has to have 10 parking spaces minimum, plus 3 parking space or 1 parking space for each 3 seats within the restaurant. If that legislation is passed, we would not be able to regulate at all. They could put in a restaurant on a parcel with no parking whatsoever. There'd be nothing we can do about it. We also can't regulate the size of parking spaces if that passes, with the exception of handicap spaces, angled spaces, and parallel parking spaces. But your general, in a row, traditional spaces can't regulate at all if that passes. So there is a lot of uproar across the state over that one as well. Another one that is proposed is to exempt all home-based businesses from any municipal authority whatsoever, with the exception of prohibiting illegal drugs and adult type establishments from being in home-based businesses. But other than that, could not regulate any kind of sales taking place on a property, any kind of business really. If you wanted a small manufacturing facility in your backyard, as long as it's still being residential, it seems like it would be acceptable if that passes. So, like I said, there's some intention to restrict local government authority right now at the state legislature. To give you an update on the Bell Street ditch cleaning and pipe replacement. So the project that was designed, the ditches have been cleaned and the new pipes are in place. It appears there's still some work to be done. Once all that gravel is compacted into place, some final patching of the asphalt and concrete in a driveway. But for the most part, the road's open back up, pipes are in place, ditches are cleaned out. However, since that work has taken place, there's a couple properties that were just outside of the scope of that project that have now reached out asking us to take a look at theirs. And I did go out there and look at those properties this afternoon at their request, and believe that it is something that probably needs to be addressed in order to really finish the work on Bell Street. And so those two properties, so the ditch cleaning stopped. So let me zoom in a little bit. You can see right here, this old paving
Yeah.
patch job. So that's where one of the pipes was replaced. And this ditch was cleaned all the way back up to the entrance to the mobile home park here. On this side, it was basically just cleaned just at the entrance. This ditch area right through here up to Mary Catherine Court, as well as this one on the other side of Mary Catherine Court. In fact, you can see how big of an area that actually stands in water all the time. It's a pond there now where the amount of water coming through this pipe has just wallowed it out. But this little area here needs to be addressed, and this section down through here needs to be redug. Not much, few inches, but it would be something that would require equipment rather than shovels.
I walked that today down by 120. Where the gym used to be and Buddy's
Okay,
place
yeah.
used to be, right across the street. That mailbox sits there. That is bad spot right there. I mean, it's eating out underneath the road.
Let me take a look at that. Make sure I know exactly.
It's the right straight across from that gym.
So here's the gym across from their entrance.
Yeah.
So somewhere in here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, it looks a little green right here, probably.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Right down there.
It's pretty
You can
bad.
Get away from.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it? It's not gonna last long. And let's see.
Would that be a ditch clearing? Would you call it a clearing, or is it something else that we
I
need to do
wouldn't, 'cause
differently there?
it's, there's a mailbox sits there by itself, 120 mailbox is sitting there. And the mailman has rode down that thing forever, and it's probably about that far below the pavement. Well, the pavement is eat out, just like this one right down here. It looked just like it. It's eat out underneath the pavement already.
Okay,
And it's quite a distance, and all it is for the mail truck going through there. But I don't even know who the mailbox belongs to. There's nothing on that side of the road.
There used to be a trailer there, remember? Maybe there was that trailer.
May have been.
That,
It's a new mailbox though.
yeah.
I thought it was for the gym, but the gym's got one in front of there.
well, that's the address of the church. Is 120.
Oh, that's a long way from the church.
There's probably is churches.
I don't know why the church doesn't put it up there on the door. They could drive right in the parking lot, and swing around.
They don't do that very often anymore. They won't stay on the road. They won't even do that on Cedar Point Boulevard. You know it's got to be safer than pulling some of these driveways
Oh,
than
I
it is
know.
to stay on the road.
We tried that, remember?
But I'll take a look at it, and if we need
Yeah.
to reach out to the church.
I was just wondering today when they were gonna fix the road. It is over that. That was in my list.
I don't have a timeline for that.
They should be coming here soon. I know the money's running out on that grant. That grant's.
Well,
That's
that was
probably the last project right there.
what I was about to say is I was going to reach back out to the county to see if there would be enough grant funds to expand the scope of that project to clear out that ditch and to address this little area here.
There might be enough to do that. You might want to hit it quick.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know that money is coming to an end. So. I'll check in that first.
Yeah, if you would go down there and take a look at it as well.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think it would be, it's nowhere near as elaborate as, replacing pipes under the road and all that. It just, somebody needs to get in there with a mini excavator
It's not.
and
Yeah.
be able to haul it out of there
It's not.
and regrade it.
It's not.
No, that's what I thought it was.
It is, it's all silt that's washed up from hurricanes and,
Years of stuff.
yeah. So, just want to kind of bring that to your attention. I'll reach out to the grant. If you would take a look at it, and then if I hear back from them, maybe we can address what to do with it moving forward next month. I received notification that one of the teams that has been using our gym for practice recently won, I guess it was a national competition, won the championship.
Wow.
And so here's a picture there of the girls, U10, the Phantoms travel team. And so they want to express their appreciation to the town for letting them use the gym for their practices. They feel that the ability to use that in the winter kind of gave them a competitive advantage over some of the other teams who haven't had that same opportunity elsewhere. So so I would share that with all of you.
That's pretty nice.
Let's see. On the sign installation, I reached out to Young Brothers a couple times and received no response from them. So unless the board wants me to keep trying, we do have the other quote of $3,800. That did not include the rental of the lull to actually move it. That cost is about $500 and some to rent the lull itself. So you're talking about a total price of about $4,300 for that project. Any issues with moving forward on that?
Needs to be done. Get it done.
Yeah, get it done. Whatever you gotta do. I mean,
Yeah, it's good. It's all fucking got.
All right.
Put that sucker to rest.
Even I believe the people I've reached out to and waited and I'll get you a quote and never got a quote. And it's one of those projects. It doesn't really fit squarely with within anybody's wheelhouse. It's kind of a unique little project that's still smaller than most people want to deal with. All right, update. Jane is out. I don't know how many of you know, she's been out for several days now. She will probably still be out for a while. Her mom is not doing well at all. And so she's in Illinois there with family. If you would keep them in your prayers. Also, Gary is out because his dad's in Florida. Not doing well either, not expecting to come back home himself. So
Monday.
He did pass.
Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
No service.
I think I talked to Gary Friday. He was in hospice Friday.
yeah, that's when I texted
He died Monday.
Monday.
I'm going to raise a Korea's grandson. We'll go pray that he didn't have a stab something back.
okay. So remember Gary and his family as well. One of the reasons, just to explain why I placed and recommended the public hearings for both the budget and the ETJ on the work session for May 22nd, is I plan to be out for your regular meeting in May. Just like last year, my daughter was invited to the national competition for speech and debate, and that will be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I will be out of the office that week. I will once again plan to Zoom in, be with you that week or that night, but I won't be here physically in case we had a whole lot of discussion on either the ETJ issue or the budget. I'd rather be here in person, so that's why those are scheduled. We did receive the commercial site plan for Riptide Car Wash. Interested in going in onto the property there in front of Tractor Supply on the intersection. So the planning board will be looking at that next Tuesday night in the event anyone wants to be here for that. Next Tuesday, April 1st, I think it is. So that is on this parcel right here, lot number 5.
It is on the agenda already.
Yes, we hadn't sent out the agenda yet, but yeah, it'll be on the agenda. We thought we were going to have a rezoning request. Well, we had a rezoning request that we planned on putting on that agenda. And in fact, we sent out notifications that it's on the agenda. After doing some research today and I think yesterday as well, we're not so sure that we need to have a rezoning of it. It's a property located between Palmetto Drive and Cedar Lane. It's a property owned by Rufus Murray. Used to be this little furniture store here. Our current zoning map shows that property as being zoned residential. However, some of the town's older zoning maps show it as being zoned B1. And we can't find any record of it ever being requested to be changed from B1 to residential. I think it might have been an error in drawing the map somewhere between 2011 and 2015. So if it has not been formally rezoned from B1 to residential, then technically it is still B1. We will remove that from the agenda, reimburse the property owner because he wouldn't have spent the money, but for the town's error. And then just move forward with it as B1. We have a golf cart business that's looking to go in there. Should be a permitted use in a B1.
A local one or somebody new?
I don't know who it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I haven't heard the name.
Used to be a bar there.
It was a bar.
The landing,
Yeah, back in there.
that same guy that built Riptown.
Didn't know that.
It's history of me.
About a week.
That's why it's history to me, Scott.
You got a long ways.
I didn't know nobody lived there.
So in case you get any inquiries, here in the near future, this property, well, highlighted in teal, is going to be cleared here pretty soon. That is the additional 5 acres that the hospital purchased. So these 3 tracts right here are the 5 acres that have already been cleared for the future hospital development. And they have received their sedimentation erosion control permit from the state and asked the town for the zoning permit to go ahead and clear this area. My understanding is they don't have plans to move forward with development of it right away. But they do have some sketch plans of how they want to develop it in the future. I suspect the primary objective would be to use this property to help with staging of the construction of the hospitals. They're probably their primary reason for wanting to clear it beforehand. They will be maintaining a 30-foot buffer along the rear property line, similar to what you see behind the condos and what's left of this cleared parcel as well. It's not required under our ordinance, but they wanted to do that for the benefit of the residents that would be abutting it, as well as to keep consistency along that back property line. So I don't know when they're going to start. They have their permit in hand. And we did receive some elevation drawings moving forward here pretty soon with a new zoning permit for sound furniture, same footprint as the old one. I'm not going to give away the design, but it'll be very nice. Drawings are very nice. It's very architecturally pleasing. The new sound furniture.
Oh, okay.
So going back in the exact same footprint,
Oh,
so outside dimensions would all be the same, but adding some windows down along the side of the building where previously there was one metal door. So there'll be some windows down along that side, and then the front will look very nice as well. So they're still working on. We did have an issue that their sign was a little too tall on the front, so they're addressing that, and then we'll get it permitted. So then move forward. Good. And that is all that I have on my list for you.
Thanks, David. Okay, open the floor up to the public. Anybody want to speak?
One of our questions, we are Gary and Darlene Cox, and we live on Cedar Lane.
If you can, just come up here and tell us your name.
We live on Cedar Lane, Darlene and Gary Cox, and we were wondering what the public hearing sign was up, but then it was down, and we were wondering what the business would be at the end of our street. So we found out that's the golf cart business.
Okay, on Cedar Lane, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that sign was for the proposed rezoning.
Exactly.
That we will have to do.
Yeah, we
We were
gleaned,
just curious.
yeah, we gleaned that from you, from what you said. We did have another question about, the timeline and the actual purpose of the orange flags that
Yeah, so the line.
we are
We're
the,
supposed to be cleaning ditches. We understood
yeah,
that.
is that still on the, is that the reasoning behind?
So the orange flags that you see primarily is, bright speed,
Correct.
putting in underground, fiber optic cables.
Mhm.
So that's nothing involved with the town whatsoever. We're not.
Well,
But we were told that,
indicated.
you know, that they were gonna be cleaning those ditches. Now, I assume that's state. I
our-
think the front side of our house is state and the back side is.
Yeah,
So, yeah, Cedar Lane is a state maintained road. So if there's gonna be some ditch cleaning down through there, that would be a state project. That wouldn't be a county.
That's what I thought.
it's been a problem ever since we lived there. You know, every flash flood we get, I heard you talking about Bell Street, but it's been an issue where the water actually joins from the front and the back.
It backs up all the way back.
I don't know if there's a contact person that, you know, we and our neighbors could solicit help about that. And they've actually sold another lot at the end. And they did put a pipe under the road, well, in the driveway. And I was hoping that maybe that was going to be a way for it to tie, if, you know, but to me, it may compound the problem. I'm not sure, but,
Yeah, there shouldn't be any part of that development that should increase any issue further. We looked at it when there was actually I don't know if you remember seeing a sign on that property.
we did.
There was a variance request
Mhm.
for it to bring in 2 foot of fill as opposed to 1 foot, which is what our ordinance would have allowed. That variance was granted, but there is a ditch that runs along that road frontage, that would not be impaired, and any kind of elevation of this lot actually is still lower than the road, even with an additional 2 foot, and that would be taken by that ditch back out to the road. So there wouldn't be any impact from there further up. But yeah, every time that we have a major storm, these houses right through here, and I'm not sure which one yours is.
So,
On the right.
116.
Okay, yep. I have photos from every major rainstorm we've had of that area sitting underwater, for a little while. Fortunately, I mean, it does appear that usually within a day or so, you drain out pretty good, which is fortunate, but I understand the concern.
I really think it is a bottleneck somewhere in the pipe. I mean, a blockage, you know, and
Yeah, it's one house is there that the pipe is collapsed.
so,
But I understand that's not y'all's issue.
Just call it DOT. Yeah, get up with DOT and just voice your concerns and just kind of explain to them what you're going through and, you know, put it on their radar. I'm sure it's probably already on their radar, but it would be good just to kind of make a courtesy call again.
so as far as the orange flags, getting back to that with bright speed, what is the timeline on that?
We don't have any knowledge whatsoever. I mean, as long as they're within DOT right away, they don't have to contact us at all and haven't, or in private neighborhoods such as.
I asked the girl the other day, cause I didn't know what they were doing either.
Yeah,
My yard is a flag. The whole yard,
that's.
mine is like the cable hub and all that
That's-
stuff, and they're everywhere, all the way into the back of my yard.
I pulled them up in
And
my yard.
I stopped and said, well,
I pulled
what
them up
do
in
you
my yard.
do?
They just come back with this and get.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I was
There's
tired of looking at them.
paint, she's painted all my yard orange and stuff.
Well, see, that's our question, because we had to rebuild totally from the hurricane that was here. He could verify our dilemma with all this and our problem with all the things we had to do. But, you know, it's like they're saying that the flags are there because they had to mark the water, and the water lines are the town, correct?
No,
No.
they belong to West
Yeah.
Water Water Corporation.
Your water lines are gonna be blue. Your electrical lines and Brightspeed will be orange.
Right,
So if you got blue, I would just, there should be some markings of some paint,
it is. but
then I
we-
would just.
We want to redo our yard. That's the last phase of us rebuilding since Hurricane Florence. We have the house finished and now it's the yard, but I didn't know.
Have they
whether-
already been there? Have they bored in your area, like at the front area? Have they been, have you seen any interaction of boring going on there yet?
It's been
Just paint and flags.
Yeah, they're doing.
flags and paint, and
They're-
See, they've done my neighborhood already. So
we're the last street.
you must be, yeah, I just.
So what I've seen down the Ocean Way, they got certain points in their bore,
Yeah,
so they don't do damage like that's their kids switch.
So would our work interfere with their work is my.
I would,
Everything that they're gonna do is several feet below ground.
Unless it's the state norm Pittsburgh.
As much orange flags as we see, I live off Red Barn Road,
Uh-huh.
and my neighborhood currently has all the same flags. He's off VFW Road, and his neighborhood has flags, Bud's Lane, it's Brightspeed everywhere. That,
You don't think states?
I don't think DOT,
No.
that's not DOT
No.
flagging at this point.
She even had a Brightspeed vehicle.
yeah,
So
it's all
effectively,
Brightspeed.
Competitive, basically.
They're doing all of Western Part.
Spectrum cable.
Yeah, I've seen them down there.
That's who it
Yeah.
is.
When they locate, they have to
All
locate
my
everything. They just
space.
don't locate one thing. They have to locate
Right.
all the
Well, I
locations.
know he did say something
Yeah.
about the water.
But yeah,
So we don't.
Yeah, I don't have information from Brightspeed on exactly where they're working or when or anything like that.
Okay.
But I highly doubt that's DOT at this point.
Okay. All right, so we could do.
I would
Proceed with
proceed,
whatever
yeah.
we wanted to do. Just didn't know if it had anything to do with the town.
Well, just keep in mind, if you are putting fill in on your property, it does require a permit from the town, so. Okay, just landscaping.
Well, we.
If I do any field, it would be for.
Okay,
So you think that-
just let us know and we'll take a look at it. I
Um,
mean, minimal stuff. They would.
Would it be permissible that we put our own pipe in that ditch and cover it up?
That would be a DOT question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause it-
DOT's right away, they get to make the rules. on it.
Okay, all right, cause see, on the other side, it's just on a few houses that it affects that the ditch.
You used to roll the pipe out there and they put it in for you.
Yeah, recommendation is not only you call, but have those additional people call as well.
Just
And just have a little,
list of the neighbors.
yeah, just
everybody.
keep going and let them call. You call, then they call, then the next.
Okay.
And then that way you can kind of work together and hopefully you can make enough noise to get something
Crazy
going.
as we were.
Yes,
That's right.
yes.
I hate to say it that way, but that's the way, you know.
Everything.
Thank you.
These are-
Anybody else? All right. Frank?
I don't have a whole lot, you know. Like I said, some big guys back there.
Yeah, that's,
She's going through.
yeah, it'd be tough.
Is his wife or the mom still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they live in Florida
I mean, they have the place still.
during the winter and Gary and Chris go take them down.
That's right.
We go get them, and bring them back here.
Yeah.
So-
I always waved to him when he was on his back porch when I was playing golf.
Hole number 6.
Yeah.
like,
He'd always give me some hell when I.
He golfed today.
I'm sorry?
The older guys, that story.
Yeah. Always was sitting on his back porch.
Yeah.
All right, John.
Not so much, but I wanna congratulate the traveling team and. I mean, if they can give us a picture or something, that maybe we should hang it up in the gymnasium.
We did find one of the homeowners in Crystal Shores that's on the board has a daughter that plays softball. So that is a possibility.
Okay,
We told him about it, so hopefully he'll get them connected right. I don't really have anything else for the group, just, are we having an Easter egg hunt this year?
we have what?
Easter egg hunt?
Yes.
Okay.
Jane usually goes over that.
I know she does, she's not able to be
Uh,
here.
Well, she is here with us.
Well, hi, Jean.
It's going to be April 12th,
Okay.
and it's Alicia and I work on it. We both we're a team.
Fair enough. I was just curious.
Nice to meet you, Jane. I didn't know if you wanted to talk to us.
That's okay.
Well,
Yeah, it's a lot of loud TV and the news on all the time, but I'm glad I'm here.
prayers are with you, Jane.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's rough.
Come home, David's sinking. All right, Jerry.
I just got a couple things. What's the latest on Paul's building? Any word? It's looking more like an eyesore every time I ride by that thing.
Ball's in his court.
Not us.
I mean, do we need to reach out to him? I mean, what do we need to do here?
County.
Huh?
County. They held him up. Can't go no faster than the county.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's gotten his, I mean, the last step with us was to get the zoning permit.
Yeah.
We have now issued that zoning permit, whether he has finalized his building permit with Carteret County, because that had to be updated. Because of the expansion, I don't know.
Because that's who stopped.
Yeah. It just seems like it just keeps looking like an eyesore every time I go by it.
Well,
They cleaned it up. Actually
It
looks
looks
pretty
better
good.
than
Looks a
it
lot better.
Well, I'm talking about the wood in general, you know,
They
it's
cleaned
getting,
it all up.
yeah.
I mean, other than the stuff, but I mean, yeah, they cleaned it up.
He's got another adventure going too. I can't remember what it was about singing. So
Oh, it's ice cream.
there you go.
Still, yeah.
Candy store.
Candy store.
Killwins
Yeah.
over on the island.
I don't know, maybe me and Gary need to go talk to him and just see.
From a town standpoint, we don't have any authority
I know.
to address anything. From the time he had the last inspection, his permit's good for another year, so.
Yeah.
He can drag his feet for up to a year before his
He
permit
has
expires.
to do it again.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. The next thing, you know, we keep pushing this one down the line, that rec center building. We need to get in some discussions in the future with that thing for sure. I mean, I went by there today. Great job with the kids, you know, and you know me, I'm a former college coach and I know how important it is for that stuff. And I went by there today and there's like 20 cars, you know, they're using that building, which is good. But we need to figure out, I think, what we need to do. You know, either we invest in it or we figure something out. And yeah, that's just my opinion there. But you all heard me at our
Tell you what you
workshop.
do. I got a plan for you.
Gotcha.
You write us up a plan, present it to the board.
All right.
I figured we'd talk about you in next year's budget.
Yeah.
Well, we can, but because you got the knowledge,
Yeah, I know.
we don't have the knowledge. So I mean, if you draw us up a little something and his first budget meeting, we'll talk about it.
Right.
But on the screen, there's highlighted Friday, April 11th will be your budget work session at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Is usually when historically the board would take a look at that sort of stuff again.
Gotcha. All right. And it's good. I mean, it's good to see us being
We'd love
used.
to do it. It would be busy down there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I went by on the way here. Yeah.
So there are, just so you know, there are two organizations that are using the gym. There's the Phantoms Travel Teams, which is a 10U and a 12U. There's two teams there. And then there are 9 rec league teams that are using the gym. It is used for approximately 3 hours every night, Monday through Friday. Hour and a half, hour and 15-minute time slots for each of them. So yeah, it's definitely getting the use daily, Monday through Friday afternoons.
Yeah. Good deal. Yeah, I'll work on that. And then the last thing was that link, you know, for that tax issue, you know, with that new website. Might want to make sure you include that. I'm starting to get some questions about that.
So once the county makes that public,
yeah.
I'll show you where it is. So if you were to randomly let me take these contours back off. I was put up earlier. But let's just say this is Rufus's property that we were talking about just a few moments ago. You can see if you click on any individual parcel, it'll give you information about it and the sales comparison map link coming soon. That's where you will be able to find that directly from the GIS. So my understanding is you'll be able to click on that. It'll take you to another page where it will show you all of the properties that were used in the analysis to create the value for your property.
Yeah, I was just helping you guys out. Remember when they came and talked to us, they said they would have some information so you can click a link and then boom.
That's,
So they're gonna have to go to GIS.
well, my understanding is, the letter that they're sending out will include a separate link. So
Okay.
you can link directly to the property this way, or you can use the link that'll be in the letter.
I got you.
It'll be a separate
Cedar Point
website.
this week, too.
I'm sorry?
They're in Cedar Point right now.
Oh, they were in my neighborhood the last 2 days.
They're out there on Joe Street. They
He
put
left
that
me
thing on the door.
a door thing
Yeah.
the other day.
I'm just trying to help you guys out because I know it's.
I actually
it's gonna
figured they
come.
were further ahead than that,
I did too.
leaving something on my door. You thought that'd been a long time ago.
Well, they did a second visit at my house a couple weeks ago off Red Barn Road, so.
They did?
They're still doing it. I had some conversations. They gave us some initial numbers that I'll be putting into the budget, which were significantly less than I thought they were, which is encouraging news for the residents. But the estimates that I had thought were going to be there, they're not nearly as high. For whatever reason, if you paid attention to the meeting or the news about it, they indicated that increases across the county would average somewhere between 80 and 90%. The comps that they showed us here in Cedar Point were all 100% or more, with the exception of that one vacant lot at the retreat.
100+.
The number that they kicked us back at, as far as a across the board increase in property values in Cedar Point, an average, is 69%. So I reached out to them and said, I think your numbers are wrong. I don't see how, they don't compute. I even went back and looked at all 200+ sales that took place in the last in 2023 and 2024, created a spreadsheet of them, identified all those that were not arm's length transactions and all the other ones that should be thrown out for various reasons. And I was coming up with numbers between 86 and 91%. So I'm going to be real curious when those links are available. So I've been watching it for when that becomes available, because I want to see those numbers. I don't know that there's any way that we as a town have to challenge that. It pretty much is what it is. The challenge would be for property owners to reduce the values, not.
Yeah.
Individuals would.
Yeah.
But I think, what's surprising is that countywide, we're the least appreciating real estate in all of Carter County. I just don't believe it. They say they've got the numbers to back it up. I'm interested in seeing what those numbers are. I don't think the public would just common sense doesn't seem like that would be accurate. But it is what it is. So we'll address whatever numbers those are and move forward with them.
It's good for the rest of it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, definitely.
I ain't planning on going nowhere.
That's right.
Yeah, so,
I want it to go up 100%.
but I was, the initial numbers, they've said those numbers can change for a variety of reasons as we move forward. They'll hone those numbers in as we get closer to budget approval process, but.
Let's see. Interesting. Cedar Point Boat Works. That building they have in the middle of their boats over there. How long that?
Is that the one next to AutoZone?
Yeah.
So that new building that they put in has not been permitted, and Alicia is addressing it with them. She's getting them 30 days from the date of the letter to remove it.
Yeah, that's it. I saw that thing. I said, they didn't ask nobody, could they do that?
No, in fact, we issued a zoning permit for a new building, had a commercial site plan
Yeah.
approval for it.
We did all.
What happened to that?
Well, they put it up against.
Remember they
the
said they were
fence.
gonna buy it. They were gonna.
That's
have a
what kicked
deal on the
it with
building.
me.
Yeah.
Cause y'all wouldn't let me put mine against the fence. Well, theirs is up against the fence and they tore the fence down and the fence is still down. Right there at your
I know.
ice machine.
So you live in that nice place. I went to high school with him.
And he stuck it right in the middle of the boats. I mean, it's ugly.
My understanding is his intention is to move forward with some other development he's doing, residential development. He does some residential construction on the side, and he's wanting to finish up a project there before he does this one.
Yeah. It's rough over there. We gotta put a stop to that, let him drag it out of there.
Well, that's one of two sheds that we're addressing right now. They've been issued without permit. Well, three, actually. There's three.
Drug it in.
But yeah,
They don't know. What you do?
that one's in its first 30-day notice. The second one is in its second and final. So after 30 days, it starts accumulating civil penalties.
Good. Okay, next regular scheduled meeting, Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. Need a motion.
So move.
Got a motion to adjourn. Anybody in favor? Thank you. Thank y'all for coming. Wait, help us.